144 million people live in Russia. Most of them popularized nostalgia for the Soviet Union. Although they themselves live completely differently. Take a look, for example. Here is a person with whom all of Russia is associated: Vladimir Putin. Putin has been in power for more than 20 years, as they say, rescues Russia from its knees. For instance, the economicratize the oligarch side do not at all condemn those who have a villa in Miami or on the French Riviera cannot do without foie gras oysters, but the problem is absolutely not in this. Many of such people in essence mentally are located exactly there and not here. Not with our people, not with Richest. Putin himself is considered the most important patriot of the country. It even spends his vacations in the Siberian Taigathon in Sochi. He chooses Russia. He can afford to travel to any point in the world. Officially, the income of the Russian president is 10,000 per year, about $130,000. This includes salary, military pension, interest, and investment. Profit year after year. Putin declares 2 apartments, 7 and 154 square meters, garage space, caravan, and 3 cars to Volgas and a Niva Savmodest Patriotot. If you look closely, you can see that the president generally lives in grand style. March, Putin went on stage the Luzhniki Stadium with another patriotic speech, and the next day, the internet was full of discussions about Putin's jacket from the Loro Piano brand. This is an Italian manufacturer of luxury clothing. Jacket costs €12. The president's monthly salary, but this tracksuit made of silk and cashmere from the same brand costs $3.200. This is not valid, and it were present. All expensive ones are often seen on the president's hand. Watches, for example. These Patek Philippe for $60. There are rumors that Vladimir Vladimirovich has an impressive collection of watches, and these are far from the most expensive. The Russian president wears custom matasuits and ties from the Italian fashion house Valentino. One suit made to individual measurements costs $6. There is a suspicion that the Russian president does not live on one salary. So how rich is Vladimir Putin? This is Russia's best kept secret. This standard of living is much higher than anyone in the West. Even the richest people. This is the level of Saudi princess in 2007. Political scientist Stanislav Belkovsky estimated the wealth of the president of Russia at $40 billion. According to his estimates, Putin secretly controlled 37% of the shares of Surgutneftegas, 43% of the shares of Gazprom, and at least 75% of the shares of the Gunvar Companion, of the largest intermediaries for the sale of oil in world. The New York Times, citing the CIA, also spoke of $40 billion in 2012. Belkovsky suggested that Putin's wealth had grown to $70 billion. There are always a lot of rumors surrounding Putin's personal property. Is credited with an 800 square m apartment, 58 private jets and luxury yachts. It is known that Roman Abramovich gave him one of them. Let him fork out a little, nothing terrible will be lost. We do. Russian billionaires give the president such gifts. Is it really just out of respect? Not quite. In January 2021, a sensational investigative film was released to be Alexei Navalny, A Palace for Putinate. told about a huge complex on the coast off the Black Sea near Gelendzhikets area, is almost 18,000 square. MIT has a Kasanonik Club helipad Shaki arena, and a secret tunnel letting to see this is the largest private residence in all of Russian. The most expensive its cost is $1,350,000. Zero and maintenance costs. $2 million per year. 40 people work on it. Investigative journalists claim that this palace belongs to Putin. Of course, he himself denied this is just nonsense. Another one of the TVs also convinced Russians that Putin does not have any palace scene. The luxurious interiors shown are computer graphics. Putin does not need luxury as such in life for him. This is not cool. True. Alexei Navalny was soon put behind bars. Bet foreign reporters continued his work in 2018. BBC journalists note, with Sergei Kolesnik. This is a Russian entrepreneur who back in 2010 wrote an open letter to Dmitry Medvedev. President spoke about corruption schemes during construction of this palace. Teamstat. The money for the construction of the residence was collected from the oligarchs in the form of donations for health care. This money was supposed to be invested in worthy projects, but unfortunately Wento, the construction of the Palace Abramovich, gave $203,000. It looks like the oligarchs simply paid the president a tribute. Sure, that's what they thought. British journalists showed documents. One of the offshore commissioner. $1 million was transferred for construction accord to Kolesnikov. Owner of this company was Putin himself. In 2016, the press announced a new obsolete cosmic sum which the Russian president, allegedly, has. Vladimir Putin is a very rich man. According to my estimate, his fortune exceeds $200 billion. Most of the money was stolen from the state, but it is not stored in his account. Putin stores it in the accounts of oligarchs' trusted persons. William Browder, founder of the investment fund Hermitage Capital, ran a successful business in Russia and was one of the largest investors in the Russian economy, but in 2005, he was accused of financial fraud and banned from entering the country. According to Browder, the simply wanted a bribe from Hyman. Then his lawyer, Sergei Magnitsky, uncovered a fraudulent withdrawal of almost $250 million in tax payments. Outside of Russia, of course, he was arrested. Often happens in Russia. This also often happens in Russia. Browder, an ardent supporter of sanctions against Russian oligarchs, are Putin's wallets, and at the same time his Achilles heel. Russian president methodically accumulated enormous wealth and kept it, of course, not in Sberbank, but hid it in the West through a complex network of offshore accounts. But where did the sum of $200 billion come from? Browser's calculation was quite simple. Putin does it this way: he allows oligarchs get rich and they share exactly half of their income with him. These people got rich thanks to Hyman. At any moment he can take this money back and the oligarchs can go to jail or be killed. How does this happen? Then the richest man in Russia was considered Mikhail Khodorkovsky of the oil company Yukaspot. He made a fatal mistake, lengthened the president's scale of corruption in Russia, estimated by experts from 4 organizations. Saprik, the same, estimated at around $30 billion. Larsis is 10 to 12% of GDP. I am returning your puck to you as a result. Khodorkovsky was robbed of everything and imprisoned for 10 years. First, let's eat yours and then each of us will eat his owning. Putin's biography. There is one funny and revealing episode. In 2013, Robert Kraftauner, of the Boston football team New England Patriots, stated that the Russian president stole his championship ring. Incident happened in the summer of 2005 when Kraft, as part of a delegation of American businessmen, came to Putin at the Constantine Palace near St. Petersburg. Kraft had a championship ring on his Honda's team, won the championship that year in the National League. The gold ring is encrusted with 120 diamonds. It is valued at $25,000. Versions of how exactly the ring ended up in Putin's hands. Russians disagree, claiming that Kraft himself gave it to Putin. Krovisi stated that the president himself noticed the impressive ringgit that moment. According to the American, Putin said, "You can kill with such a ring," and casually put the ring in his pocket. Perhaps the president did not even realize what happened at Bacchus. Everything in this world belongs to him. A little least in his own country. Putin is used to taking everything. He likes long live Russia. There is a saying thought behind every great fortune there is a great cremetto coming into big politics. Putin was a low-level official, had no major business interests, but one dubious deal gives birth to another, and now his opportunities are immense, like Russia itself. Fact that he now owns such untold wealth, a sign of blatant corruption on his part. Why does he need so much money? It is difficult to guess. On the other hand, Vladimir Vladimirovich is a father and, like any father, cares about the well-being of his children. Officially, Putin has 2 daughters, Mary and Katerina, but information about what they look like and what they do is not available until recently. Journalists have declassified both. According to information from Western and Russian media, the eldest daughter, Maria, is married to a Dutchman, Joret Fasena, businessman, former top manager of Gazprom Bank, and a consulting company. The couple have a son. Maria is a graduate of the Faculty of Fundamental Medicine at Moscow State University, candidate of medical science, specialist in the field of endocrinology, and owner of a company which is engaged in the construction of a large-scale medical complex. Project is supported by large businessmen and are used to investing in the healthcare system. Putin's second daughter, Ekaterina Tikhanova, perhaps best known for her success as a rock and roll dancer and also for her fortune. 6 years ago, she was married to Kirill Shamalov, son of Nikolai Shamalov, co-owner of Bank Rossio. Putin's comrade in the Azero cooperative couple divorced in 2018. Then it turned out that their total assets amount to about $2 billion, but in addition to 2 official daughters, Putin is credited with 4 more. From former gymnast Alina Kabava. Their affair is an open secret in Russia, but Putin himself has never confirmed this connection. Recently, the British newspaper The Mirror reported that Kabava is now in Switzerland in a private and very secure chalet on the shores of Lake Lugano. Article says that, not far from the lake, there are a many private 4-story house nearby expensive restaurants, banks, branded pharmacies, and elite hospitals. According to a local TV channel, it was in one of these VIP clinics called the Santana Clinician 2015 Putin's mistress gave birth
In
to
total,
twin girls.
as the media claims, couple has 4 children, 7-year-old girl and 2 boys, one in a word. The Russian president has more than enough air sand so far. They are provided for the rest of their lives, but any nation will always be distinguish true patriots from scum and traitor sand, will simply spit them out like a fly that accidentally flew into the mouth. Volodya, you're screwed. Meanwhile, according to Rostat, every 10th Russian lives below the poverty line.